Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. On Monday, I pulled this buffalo chicken salad together in like less than 10 minutes. I had some shredded rotisserie chicken that I had froze. So all I did was let that thaw out, and then I put it in a saucepan along with some of this Buffalo Wild Wings, a buffalo sauce. I love anything with buffalo sauce in it. So I just put that on top of a bed of lettuce along with some tomatoes, black beans, cheese, and some crushed tortilla chips. And Josh, he didn't want a salad, so he wanted his nacho style. So I didn't have enough of the tortilla chips, so I did half those and then half Doritos, and I just topped it with the buffalo chicken, topped with cheese, and I let it bake for 5 minutes. So here I'm about to try a new recipe from my Pioneer Woman cookbook. It is the Cincinnati style chili. Here is the list of ingredients in case you wanted to pause the screen and get the recipe. I couldn't find it on Pinterest for some reason, so I couldn't link it in the description box. Maybe I just wasn't looking hard enough. But I did cut this recipe in half, and thinking back, I wish that I made the full amount and just froze half of it, because this was delicious and tasted so similar to Gold Star in my opinion. So here I'm cooking up my garlic in some heated olive oil in my Dutch oven. If you were to use onions in the recipe, you would add them in before this, but I do not like onions, so I just left that out. After that, I added in my ground beef, and I did sprinkle it with onion powder. I can deal with the powder. And then I just browned that up, and I drained off all that excess fat. Now I'm adding in my tomato sauce along with the beef broth, vinegar, and tomato paste. Now it's time to add in all those seasonings, so I just have a mix of chili powder, ground cinnamon, ground allspice, cumin, and some bay leaves. The recipe calls for ground cloves, but I don't have any, and the cheapest one I could find at the store was like $5, and I knew that I wouldn't use it often, so I just left it out, and it still came out great. And for the last ingredient, I just added in a few dashes of Worcestershire sauce, and I just combined everything the best that I could. I popped my lid on, and I let it cook on low for 1 hour. Once that 1 hour was up, I took out the bay leaves, and that was it. So I ended up serving it the way that I like to order it from Gold Star Chili, and it's called the 3-way, which is just serving it over spaghetti noodles and topping it with a bunch of cheese. And I actually ended up crushing some saltine crackers and putting that on top, and that was our delicious dinner for Tuesday. On Wednesday, I made an Italian sausage and veggies sheet pan meal. I actually got this idea from Taylor Elmore. She made a whole recipe video on it, so if you're interested, I will put the link in my description box. And I absolutely love this, but Josh and the kids won't even try meals like this, so I made them chili dogs using that leftover chili from yesterday. On Thursday, I tried another new recipe. It came from an old magazine that my mother-in-law gave me a few years back, and it is the chicken fried steak with cream gravy. So here I have 4 cube steaks that I have seasoned with salt, pepper, and garlic powder on both sides. And then I set up 3 little bowls. The first one is some plain flour, and then the second one is an egg, some milk, and a few dashes of hot sauce. And then in the last one is some crushed cornflakes with some more of that salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So I just took my cube steaks and I dipped it in the flour first, then the egg, and then I pressed it into the cornflakes. So then I just put them on my cookie sheet that I have sprayed with some Pam, and then I also sprayed the tops with Pam just to get them extra crispy, and I let them bake at 400 for about 18 minutes. So now I am getting the gravy started. So I just have some heavy cream and beef broth in this little saucepan. The recipe calls for half and half, but I didn't have any, so I'm just using the heavy cream. And in this little bowl, I have a cornstarch slurry, which is just some cornstarch and a tablespoon of that beef broth. So now I'm just going to combine that, and then I'm going to put it on the stove on medium heat, and I'm just going to let it come up to a boil, and I'm going to be stirring that for a few minutes, and then I'm just going to add in a bunch of black pepper, and that is it. I served that gravy over the chicken fried steaks and also over some homemade mashed potatoes, and I served it with some green beans. And this recipe is definitely a keeper, but I did have a little bit of problems with the bottom sticking to the cookie sheet, so I will try to do something different next time, but again, it's a keeper. Friday was mine and Josh's 5-year wedding anniversary, so I wanted to make something special, so I made these chicken Alfredo stuffed shells, and one of you guys actually recommended this to me, but it's been a while, so I don't remember your name. I'm sorry about that, but I have 1 large chicken breast that I have sliced in half, and I just seasoned that up with some salt and pepper, and I cooked that in my skillet with some olive oil. While my chicken was cooking, I started on my stuffing mixture, so it's just cottage cheese, ricotta, mozzarella, and some Parmesan, along with an egg and some salt and pepper. The recipe calls for fresh parsley. I didn't have that, nor did I have dried parsley, which I thought I did, so I just left that out. So here I just have my chicken cooling to the side while my shells were cooking, and I'm just going to toss those in the same bowl that I mixed everything in and just shred it up really good. Now it is time to make the homemade Alfredo sauce. So right now I just have my butter melting, and then I'm going to add in some flour and give that a good whisk to make a roux, and I'm just going to let that come up to a golden brown color, whisking the whole time. And then I'm going to add in my milk and heavy cream along with some minced garlic and some Parmesan cheese. After it has thickened, that's when I'm going to add in the seasoning. So I'm just adding salt, pepper, some basil. I'm just using the dried stuff. And if you had parsley, you would add it in at this time as well. I have my 8x8 baking dish, and I have just layered some of that sauce in the bottom, and now I'm just going to stuff all of the shells and lay them face down in the sauce. And I am cutting this recipe in half, by the way. I have learned anything with homemade Alfredo sauce does not reheat good because the sauce will separate. But once I have that all put in the baking dish, I'm just pouring the rest of that sauce over top of all of them. And then I'm going to top it with some mozzarella cheese and a little bit more Parmesan cheese. And then I just bake these at 375 for 25 minutes, and the last couple of minutes I set it to broil so that the tops could get a little bit browned. And then I just serve this with a little side salad. I'm just using the Dole Very Veggie salad mix with some cherry tomatoes and Italian dressing. And then I also served it with these garlic and cheese biscuits. I've shared these before. It's a family favorite for sure. I get them in the freezer section at Walmart. But yeah, that was our anniversary dinner. Here I have made a semi-homemade pizza. I did half cheese, half pepperoni. This is my meatless meal of the week, but Josh and Riley won't eat just cheese pizza, so I used a mix of mozzarella and sharp cheddar cheese, so that's why it has this orangey color. And I just used the Chef Boyardee pizza kit. I absolutely love this. I have bought it several times, and I just really like the crust, and I think the pizza sauce tastes great. I served it with some cantaloupe and some of that extra pizza sauce that was left, and I just warmed it up, and that's what I like to dip my pizza in. And that was our easy dinner for Saturday. On Sunday, we went to a place in town called the House of Q. I got the pulled pork tacos and some mac and cheese. But that wraps up this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and got some inspiration for your meal planning. And if you are new here, you should hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss future videos. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!